He's pushing for advocacy, but also for science to be read into the phenomenon from a mainstream perspective. Like he wants NOAA and universities that focus on studying the oceans to be aware there is a UAP presence or a USO presence there.
What's up, guys? If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Also, please smash that like button on the video and enjoy the show.
You know, there's testimony that supposedly there's a third party that's been collecting this Navy data regarding fast movers and USOs being investigated by the Navy. And apparently that third party is Johns Hopkins University.
You got a pretty good source for that.
Pretty good source, yeah. Can't say who.
Okay. So you had said back towards the beginning of our sit down today that he, you know, you and him and Gallaudet had gotten into contact, and he trusted you to give you some of this information. And what had really opened his mind to this was the Go Fast video.
Yeah, he witnessed it before it was released to the public.
Before it was released to the public.
Years before this, 2017 New York Times release and all that stuff.
Did he have any familiarity on cases that had been reported by the Navy, not even during his time, but before him? Because I know you got into some of these cases. You got into a really cool one in 1952, the documentary on the USS Roosevelt. But did he have anything to say about some of the anomalous Navy potential sightings that had occurred?
I don't think so. Look, I would love to introduce you to him so you can have him come on the podcast.
I would actually really like to have him on.
Yeah, I will. I'll introduce you tonight. But he told me, he's not doing interviews right now. Like, he's done one interview with me, like I told you earlier, and I think it has to do with getting his security clearance back, and just he wants to focus on doing things the right way, a bit more scientifically, and not come off like a new UFO celebrity.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
He's just trying to do things the right way, and I really respect that.
Yes. You also referenced early on in the conversation in the middle of some stuff about him, like a white paper or something that he just released.
Yeah, he's connected to the Saul Foundation that was actually set up by Gary Nolan, and initially David Grush was kind of part of that, but he's stepped back. And he takes it very seriously because the Saul Foundation is a group of scientists. You got Jacques Vallée, Gary Nolan, Larry Maguire, who's MP with the Canadian government, who's been pushing for disclosure from a Canadian perspective. Who else you got in that?
There's a lot of people.
A lot of peeps.
A lot of names I haven't heard before either.
Yeah, and so Tim is part of that group, and he just wrote a paper on the USO phenomenon and UAPs over in our oceans. And just, I've been reading it. I haven't fully finished it, but I've gotten pretty far into it. And some of the things that he talks about are just so, altruistic. He's pushing for advocacy, but also for science to be read into the phenomenon from a mainstream perspective. He wants NOAA and universities that focus on studying the oceans to be aware there is a UAP presence or a USO presence there, and to factor into that research about what's going on in our oceans. Because he even says, there are greater unknowns about our ocean than the surface of the moon or the Mars.
Yeah.
Or the surface of Mars.
That's crazy to think about. Hey guys, if you have a second, please be sure to share this episode around on social media and with your friends, whether it's Reddit, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, doesn't matter. It's all a huge help. It gets new eyeballs on the show, and it allows us to grow and survive. So thank you to all of you who have already been doing that, and thank you to all of you who are going to do so now. But it's also kind of true. So
there's a lot of, if you think about it too, scientifically, there's a lot of challenges that the ocean poses. that like maybe the moon, I mean, there's definitely challenges there too, right? There's
Yeah.
reasons why we haven't been back.
Just a few.
But the obvious challenges about the ocean is the pressures as you go deeper. You can't have a large vessel like a big Navy submarine.
Right.
You get into these compact little deep submersibles that sometimes blow up.
Shout out Titanic sub.
Oh my gosh.
R.I.P.
Yeah, super sad.
That
Tough
sucks.
way to go, man.
Yeah. Actually, it's a good way because it was quick.
Well, it's quick, but still, that's not
Yeah.
2,000 meters under the water, whatever it was. No thanks.
That's
where I'm
not.
going.
I wouldn't sign up for that trip. But but the challenges are you have to build a craft that can withstand that. James Cameron's done it.
Yes.
This guy,
He's a savage. James
Yeah.
Cameron.
James Cameron knows about this phenomenon.
Oh, yeah.
He knows
definitely.
what's up. Especially if you look at, he made a documentary called Aliens of the Deep
He did.
years
Can we pull this up? James
Yeah.
Cameron hopping into the USO phenomenon?
Didn't,
Not necessarily. What he poses is, could there be ocean-like planets like ours that harbor alien life
Underneath.
at the bottoms of their oceans?
Like in Atlantis, if you will.
Yeah. And the other thing is, have you ever seen the film The Abyss?
yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna
of course,
say.
yeah.
Okay. The opening of The Abyss is about a famous case of the USS Scorpion or USS Scorpio that went missing in the Bermuda Triangle. Okay? So he knows something. He's writing an actual Navy like submersed anomaly that has happened in our human history into a science fiction about aliens living at the depths of our ocean.
Right.
Where did he get this idea? I mean, Terminator is all about AI, right? So he's on to something there, and people are still shouting, Elon Musk and Christopher Nolan's brother and everybody's saying that the end is nigh with AI. So he was on to something. Is he on to something regarding the abyss and Navy encounters with USOs or just anomalies, right? The Bermuda Triangle is a highly anomalous area. And this man here and I traveled to Puerto Rico to start shooting another USO-related documentary. recently.
USO specifically.
Well, UAP and USO. Because Puerto Rico, believe it or not, is a hotbed for UFO, USO activity. And it's right at the edge of the Bermuda Triangle. It's also...
Can we pull up a map of the Bermuda Triangle, Alessi? I know we always talk about it, but
Yeah,
should
yeah.
have people looking at
It's
it.
at the edge. But it's also right at the top of one of the deepest ocean trenches in the world. And you look at the edge of the island of Puerto Rico, and right after that fall is the deepest ocean mountain in the world that goes down to one of the deepest places in the ocean. And that is where so many Puerto Rican residents have seen UFOs or USOs emanating from over the decades. Like literally, we went around the island and we interviewed so many people, and they were just like, ovnis, ovnis.
Yeah.
They're coming from the ocean, and like, we're like, yeah, we believe you, man. There's some weird stuff going on.
Yeah, I mean, even outside this, have you ever seen the underwater pyramids off of Cuba?
Oh yeah, I've seen.
Oh my
yeah,
God!
yeah.
Has Grant Cameron covered that? Or sorry, not Grant Cameron.
Graham Hancock?
Graham Hancock, yeah.
Probably. I don't know. I know Matt LaCroix's brought it up a lot in here, and he's not the only one. There's other people who have covered
Okay.
this. Graham probably did, but I don't know if you can pull that up, Alessi. It's the pyramids off the coast of Cuba, but they found, I want to say it was like 2,000 meters down or something, literal pyramids, and you can start to go far down the rabbit holes with these things.
yeah.
Totally.
You're like, okay,
Oh
why
my
are there
God.
Fucking pyramids
Is that
down
for
there?
real?
Yes. So this is a reproduced image. If I remember this correctly, this is not the actual image. This is a reproduced image based on the scanning that they did. Wow. But it looks like it's a combination of Egyptian pyramids and Mel Gibson's movie Signs, right? Like, but it's underwater.
Yeah.
So you think about, and this is right off the coast of Cuba.
Yeah.
So you think about stuff like this, and you start to wonder, again, you get back to that 95% or whatever it is that we haven't even looked at with the oceans and what could be happening. It is believable that there are anomalous things happening. Because by the way, if I were running some secret government stuff too, guess where I'm doing it? I'm doing it in some of the anomalous places where, you know, maybe, I don't know, it's deep enough down there, it's a little bit remote. You know, they're not going to take seriously the locals who see it. Mm-hmm. There's certainly some impetus for that, but you know, I'm blown away with some of the alleged sightings that have happened. So maybe actually this would be a good point to get to some of that history.
Sure.
Because a fascinating part about all UFO lore to me is that obviously there's been aspects of it in our history that have always been around, but the post-World War II ramp up of like people actually, and again, they had more access to report things far and wide because mass media was starting to form in that period, but like of these sightings all over the world, and particularly when you bring in like nuclear bases and things like that.
Or nuclear detonations.
Correct.
In the ocean.
Yes. So, and that's right on topic with some of the stuff you got to. Like, it gets interesting. And the one, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but if you wouldn't mind laying out the whole story, the one that really blew my mind was the 1952 USS Roosevelt.
Operation Mainbrace.
Yes. Where was this and what happened?
So it was in the Arctic area, wasn't it? I can't remember. Alessi, can you bring up Operation Mainbrace UFO?
We're getting damn near Antarctica.
No. Antarctic's south. Arctic is north.
Oh, did I fuck that up?
It's all good.
God damn it. I'm not a geographer.
Yeah, Antarctica is also, Operation Mainbrace. Yeah, History Channel did a thing on it.
That's reliable.
Yeah, and this, well, it's getting a little biased these days. In late September 1952,
only months after a rash of flying saucer sightings over Washington, D.C. made headlines around the world, dozens of military officers participating in NATO exercises in the North Atlantic were struck by their own UFO fever. Exercise Mainbrace was the largest peacetime military exercise since World War II. The war game-style maneuvers simulated NATO's response to a mock attack on Europe, presumably by the Soviet Union. The Mainbrace operation involved 200 ships, 1,000 planes, and 80,000 soldiers from multiple NATO countries, including large deployments from the United States and the United Kingdom. And this is where allegedly a USO sighting occurred. Mm-hmm. Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.